What we have done now is to allow the Chinese to come and completely exhaust our lithium ore. Because the discovery that was made in Abuja, they said it's about 3 million tons. Nasarawa, China doesn't have enough lithium, so they are moving around scavenging for lithium ore. They want to exploit as much as they can from Nigeria. Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Caesar Osahene Yayi. I am your advocate for the industrial development of Africa, a process that I continue to insist will begin from Nigeria. Today, I want to talk about some of the information I got about a week or two ago. First one I got was that Nasarawa State, in conjunction with some Chinese company, have inaugurated a 3 million lithium processing plant, 3 million tons per annum, that can process lithium ore into lithium concentrate.
How important is this? How much of a game changer is this for jobs and more?
Well, thank you very much. I think the beginning is to ensure that instead of Nigeria taking raw sand called lithium out of Nigeria, we are at least now processing it in Nasarawa State, and we are extracting only the concentrate. So that's the process that we have just established. So if you remember 2 years back, the president also through the Senate president actually commissioned one that was about 1 million metric tons per annum. That one already is producing over 4,000 metric tons a day. So collectively, the two of them are already producing 10,000 metric tons a day, for the two of them.
Right.
If you put it together, they are also looking at other smaller factories. You see, we have a lot of these smaller factories, that have been operating in Nasarawa State. But we didn't get the big news until we have this one, which is the biggest in Africa, and that is the reason why there is a lot of attention. And we get calls from all over, we get calls from the US, we get from Canada, and everybody else. So it's a very exciting thing, and it's also a game changer. One of the biggest things that happened with this particular facility is the fact that it is using the latest technology of extracting pure lithium, from the sun. Then
I got another news again that Zamfara State, also working with some consortium of Chinese, also inaugurated another plant that can do about 2 million tons of lithium ore to transform it into lithium concentrate. It has some measure of good news in that it has been able to move one step from exporting lithium ore to lithium concentrate. The point I want to make is that as good as that news is, it is just one infinitesimal step in multiple steps that could be taken, up to 7 steps, to get to the final product, which is the real value-added product. I want to tell you that it is possible for it to be done in Nigeria, and why I think it is possible, and how it can be done. Lithium is an element, number 3 on the atomic table. It is used to produce lithium-ion batteries that can power our homes and also power electric cars. But let's start from the beginning. Let's take 100 tons of lithium, for example. Lithium ore, 100 tons. That 100 tons at about $20 per ton or thereabout, you could sell it for about $20,000. To bring it to perspective, 100 tons is equivalent to about 3 trailers, because a trailer would be able to pick about 33 to 34 tons. So times 3, you have about 100 tons of lithium ore. That's, if it is sold as it is, it's about $20,000 maximum. So what the Zamfara government and Nasarawa government has been able to achieve now is to move one step by producing lithium concentrate That 100 tons, what you now get after you make the concentrate will be about 20 tons. And that will now sell for $24,000. You are moving now from $20,000 to $24,000. You have reduced the weight from 100 tons to 20 tons. Later on, I will tell you what you can do further with that 80 tons, because it is made up of other elements. The lithium ore is a compound. It doesn't only contain lithium as an element, it contains other elements like quartz, which is silicon oxide. Now, so that we will not be distracted, let us focus on lithium first, before we now come back to what we could do with the other 80 tons. Because you have reduced this now from 100 tons to 20 tons. You have added value from 20,000 to 24,000. That is step one. When you move to the next step, you are going to produce what you will now call lithium carbonate or lithium hydroxide. That will now reduce to about 3 tons in weight, and it will sell for about $45,000. So you see, you are making progression now. Where we have stopped now in Nigeria is just moving from 20,000 to 24,000. They take it to China at 20 tons and reduce it further to 3 tons to 45,000. The next step after that is to process it with hydrochloric acid and all that, and then you now get another product, which is the cathode, that will be the liquid that can be used to manufacture batteries cell. So from there, you now make battery cell and move to about $100,000. So you see the progression from 20 tons, 100 tons of 20,000 to 20 tons of 24,000 to 3 tons of $100,000. What has happened? You have added value. This is now being done in China. It is simplified because it is actually simple. The only thing that is stopping us is that we imagine that it is complex. There's nothing complex about it, because all these things are done by machinery which are available. The drawback for many countries is lack of electricity. And that's where my concept of producing energy, electricity, at the point where gas is, comes in handy. Because when you have sufficient gas, it produces enough electricity 24/7. All these processes can be achieved. Assuming in Nasarawa state, you take the lithium ore and do the first step, it is easy to ship 20 tons to a place where you have gas in the south-south. Eventually, like I said before, when the industrialization process kicks in, because it will be a chain reaction, you will be able to import iron ingots and add other alloys to it and make pipes that can transfer gas from the south-south to Nasarawa, to Zamfara, to Kano, anywhere in Nigeria, under our control, with governments reducing the price of natural gas so that the industries will be able to produce electricity on the cheap. What government will be aiming for at this point is how we can create jobs, add value that will surpass in multiple terms the value of the commodities that we are selling to foreign countries on the cheap. Now, for the sake of summary, after you make the battery cells, the next thing that you do that will be done by the machine under the supervision of the expatriates that will teach us the technology. When I say STEM, I talked about STEM the other day. It says STEM, S-T-E-M, stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. What we have been talking about now is just theory of science. Because we don't have electricity, we cannot move to the next step of engineering and technology. But if you follow my blueprint, you will see that we will have the capacity to achieve all these things because we'll be able to use the raw material we have as lithium ore to go from stage 1 to stage 2, from stage 2 to stage 3, stage 3 to stage 4. We have arrived at $100,000 now at 3 tons from 100 tons of lithium ore. So by the time you make the cells, the value goes up again to about 200,000. Now, this is the real bread and butter. When you are now able to make the solar batteries, the value jumps to 900,000 and even beyond $1 million. What happened? We took raw material of lithium ore and passed it through about 6 or 7 stages, done by machines under the supervision of expatriates, and can be done here in Nigeria. And from 100 tons, which is worth $20,000, you can move to 900,000 or $1 million. Imagine a quantum leap. That is industrialization. That is the way forward for Nigeria. That is how we can get our youth to remain in Nigeria. That is how we can raise our standard of living. What we have done now is to allow the Chinese to come and completely exhaust our lithium ore. Because I went and tried to check from all sources. The discovery that was made in Abuja, they said it's about 3 million tons. Nasarawa, I don't know. So far, I have not been able to get any credible report. We do not even rank among the top lithium ore producing country or reserves in the world. So what we have, although there's still exploration taking place, may not be much. China doesn't have enough lithium, so they are moving around, scavenging for lithium ore. They want to exploit as much as they can from Nigeria by going through only one stage, moving from lithium ore to lithium concentrate, from $20,000 to $24,000. That is where they have stopped. If you think about it, it is an intelligent move on their own side because they got to take the lithium element now, it's not an element, it's no longer a compound, to China and be able to manufacture lithium batteries for home use and lithium batteries for vehicles. That chain of value-added chain has been taken away from us to China to continue to improve their economy. If I were in government, I would say to the Chinese, within the next 2 years, we are only going to allow you to mine X amount of lithium. The rest, you must produce lithium battery in Nigeria. You must produce lithium battery for home use and for vehicles here in Nigeria. That is where the value comes in. But even at that, we'll still be shooting ourselves in the foot. Why? Companies that come in here as predators, as investors, the Chinese companies, they come here with 2 or 3% interest, sometimes 0 interest on their money. What they want is to come and collect the raw material from here and take it to China to create jobs there in China, add value, and create unemployment in African countries and in Nigeria in particular. We need a system where Nigerian entrepreneurs can be encouraged, can be given loans on the cheap also. We must find a way to do that. Who told you that Nigerian entrepreneurs cannot manufacture these things? Who told you that Nigerian entrepreneurs cannot employ Chinese? Who said so? Dangote has proved that Nigerian entrepreneurs can do it. The man in charge of Boa Cement has proved that Nigerian entrepreneurs can do it. So if Dangote can do it, it is a matter of deductive syllogism. If X, then Y. You know, if you accept the premises, you must accept the conclusion. If Dangote can do it, why can't 100 or 1,000 Nigerians also do it? There are many Nigerians that will collect loan and waste the money and throw it away. Let there be accountability. People go to government and take a contract and they mobilize them 15%, they run away with the money, nothing happens to them. If that is the case, then the Nigerians that don't have the ability or the tenacity or the capacity to run industries are the ones that will get access to those contracts, because their objective is to collect the 15% and disappear. Why can't we look for credible Nigerians that have history working in competitive industries? I said many times that if you can run a private business in Nigeria that doesn't depend on government, then you can run any business anywhere in the world, because Nigeria is one of the toughest places to run a business.